in Iowa City. And later, a moving symbol where the campus icon will be relocated.
Number 1, the Hawkeyes secure a spot in the big dance.
Spiraling back from break, a windy week as Hawks return to campus.
All that and more
Coming up right now on DITV.
Good morning from Iowa City. Today is Monday, March 18th. I'm Ashley Wheel.
And I'm AJ Reister.
And the third member of our team, DITV Sydney Goldberg, is live outside now to tell us today's weather story.
With daylight savings last weekend, Sydney, has the time change affected the weather?
Yeah, AJ, due to daylight savings time, the sun came up an hour later than students might have been used to. I'm outside live right now at Kinnick, where it is 21 degrees. I was hopeful coming back from spring break that we would start to see some warmer weather here in Iowa City, but I might be out of luck for this upcoming week. Today, the weather is looking to get up to 39 degrees with the low of 21 degrees, while tomorrow is supposed to get up to 56 degrees with those high wind gusts. I'll have more on weather in a bit and new plans for UIHC, but for now, I'll send it back to you guys.
Thanks, Sydney. And an IMU protester from Chloe Cole's lecture was found guilty on all charges relating to the protest. Not guilty. And we now have Daily Iowa News editor Jack Moore live in the newsroom to tell us more about this.
Yeah, thanks, Ashley. This trial has to do with activist Tara McGovern, whose legal last name is Dutcher, after they were charged with a serious misdemeanor of blocking an intersection and the simple misdemeanor of interfering with official acts, relating to their participation in a protest against IMU speaker Chloe Cole in October. The protest started in the IMU but moved out to the intersection of Madison and Jefferson Street. At that point, protesters began to walk in a circle, which delayed traffic. University of Iowa police moved in to clear one lane of traffic with their limited manpower of 5 to 6 officers at the IMU. No one was arrested that night, but McGovern and 6 other protesters, who all identify as either transgender or non-binary, were charged nearly a month later after police reviewed video evidence. McGovern can be seen on body cam following police orders and staying out of the lane of traffic police were trying to clear. During this process, one officer was putting his hands on protesters to get them to move. McGovern told this officer to get his hands off those people and that it wasn't illegal to protest. After 2 days of court, a jury found McGovern not guilty on both charges. Afterwards, McGovern and 7 others charged for protest-related crimes on the university campus held a press conference calling for the dissolution of UIPD for claims they mishandled McGovern's case and targeted the transgender community. University police said they will continue to ensure safety and protect free speech at protests while maintaining the legal process. Back to you in the studio.
Thank you, Jack. And now we're going to send it back outside to DITV Sydney Goldberg, where she's standing below the water tower by Kinnick. Sydney, what is going on with this water tower?
Thanks, guys. This iconic water tower behind me outside Kinnick Stadium is going to be relocated closer to the Hawkeye practice facility in the next couple of years. The relocation is happening in order to make room for the new adult inpatient tower. Right now, the water tower currently provides water for the entire campus and also has a special meaning for the kids in the pediatric intensive care unit. Carson Fiedler told the Daily Iowan, quote, "It lights up so you can see the Tiger Hawk, and the kids can see it through their window, and it just reminds them that they're in the Hawkeye City and that Iowa City is the best," end quote. Although planning for this project began in early January, construction is not set to be finished until the end of 2025. Back to you in the studio.
Bill or no bill, the Iowa legislature went through another round of funneling bills. 2 bills now await Governor Ken Reynolds' signature that would turn them into law. One deals with repealing gender balance requirements on state boards and commissions, while the other would limit how much foreign countries could own of Iowa farmland. 3 bills are now also delayed to the unfinished business calendar. This includes Reynolds' proposed reforms of AEAs. 3 other bills were also killed, including 2 in the healthcare category, and 1 other priority bill was rejected. A total of 7 other bills were passed, including all 3 tax reform bills. And the celebration for St. Patrick's Day, which was yesterday, extended past the usual festivities for volunteers with Table to Table. The nonprofit organization received 58,000 pounds of potatoes through a donation from a connection with the Farm Link project. The project connects farms with food banks in an effort to limit food waste. Table to Table then distributed the donation to many different food banks in the Johnson County area.
Now let's take a look back outside with Sydney for the forecast for the week ahead.
Thanks, AJ. As we look ahead towards the rest of the week, the colder temperatures will stick around. Wednesday is only supposed to get up to 42 degrees with a low of 29 degrees, while Thursday it's going to look pretty similar with a high of 41 degrees and a low of only 25 degrees. The weekend is where we will hopefully see some higher temps as we will reach the 50s with some more high winds with gusts up to 35 miles per hour. Back to you in the studio.
Thanks, Sydney. Now, this was a big break and a big weekend even just these past couple of days for Hawkeye sports.
Yeah, there were a lot of conference tournaments this weekend, and big is exactly right. It all starts with March Madness, which is right around the corner, and fans have already gotten a glimpse of the madness after some of those wild conference tournaments. But last night was Selection Sunday, and colleges across the country learned their fate in the upcoming NCAA tournament.
And your 1 seed is...
No surprises after Selection Sunday for the Iowa women's basketball team, as they are the 1 seed in the Albany 2 region, and they will play the winner of UT Martin Holy Cross on Saturday.
But it's just a number, right? We got to the championship game with a number 2 seed last year, so we know number 1 seeds don't guarantee anything.
A lot of familiar faces for the Hawkeyes in their region, some teams that they've played this year, and many teams that they played last year in the national tournament.
I think that's what makes it so fun, those storylines and the familiarity, whether it's Colorado at the 5, whether it's Louisville at the 6, I think they were. And yeah, I think we're just excited. It doesn't really matter who you're playing. You better bring your best, because at this point in the season, you know, anybody can get beat.
Now, Iowa wasn't always guaranteed a 1 seed despite their phenomenal season, but they needed some big wins late in the season. I was in Minneapolis 2 weeks ago for the Big Ten tournament and their epic finish to the three-peat.
Women's basketball tournament champions, the Iowa Hawkeyes.
It never gets old cutting any net. You know, I feel like we're pretty good at that now, and you know, hopefully we get to do it a few more times here coming up in late March.
We fought hard tonight, and we had to. It was not very often that we have fought from behind. That was our biggest deficit at halftime.
Caitlin Clark was named the tournament's most outstanding player and was also named to the All-Big Ten tournament team, along with her teammate junior Sydney Fulter.
You know, Sid, I'm so proud of Sid, too, stepping in that starting position and then getting in the all-tournament team. She's just been waiting. She's been waiting for her chance.
For the first time ever, this tournament was sold out and the fans packed the stands once again for the epic finale.
We saw the players walking. That was really exciting because we got a high five from Caitlin Clark.
You guys are absolutely...
An instant classic in Minneapolis. Of course, now their focus shifts to Iowa's quest to get back to the national championship game. And while the weather in Iowa City hasn't been treating us the greatest these past few weeks, DITV's Jace Bertrand was in a much warmer part of the country where he got to meet some Hawkeyes where you may not expect to find them.
Thanks, AJ, and I'm sorry to hear about the weather, but the sun is shining bright here in Las Vegas, Nevada, and the Iowa women's Hawkeyes are shining even brighter. Vegas is no stranger to the sports industry, but in recent years, the city has become more and more involved in the athletic world, including college sports. The Las Vegas Iowa Club meets to watch most every football and basketball game, at times bringing in nearly 100 fans.
I come to all of them. I started coming to the Iowa Watch alumni stuff 15 years ago when it started.
I graduated from Iowa in '81, and I followed the Hawkeyes since I was there.
Despite being over 1,000 miles away, Hawkeyes have been brought together in Las Vegas for one reason: see the Iowa women's basketball team play in the Big Ten tournament.
Obviously, we're not there, so we're going to want to watch it here just to see the history made to actually see the game.
Clark Fever has swept most of the nation, and Vegas has not been left out of the hype.
I became a Hawkeye fan when Caitlin decided to go to Iowa because we got to watch Caitlin play in high school.
I think Caitlin Clark brought my attention to women's basketball, but always have followed the men's.
She's made a huge dent in women's sports and basketball especially. People are going to games now and they care about it.
While the Iowa women's basketball team prepare for the national tournament, they can count on fans all over the country to cheer them on. From Las Vegas, Nevada, Jace Bertrand, DITV.
The men's basketball team competed in the Big Ten tournament last weekend as well, but they didn't have the same success as the women's team did. DITV's Brady Barrett was in Minneapolis for Iowa's lone game.
History repeated itself here at the Big Ten tournament as Iowa fell to Ohio State for the second year in a row, losing 90-78.
4 Buckeyes hit double figures, led by Jamison Battle's 23 points, and Ohio State shot 55% from downtown. Their bench also outscored Iowa's 37-16 on the way to victory.
We didn't give them enough pressure. They was comfortable, They got great players on their team. We let them get comfortable shots.
Peyton Sanford had 19 points leading the way for Iowa, while Tony Perkins added 13 points and 7 assists as well.
While Iowa's chances of making the NCAA tournament continue to get slimmer and slimmer, they still look to be major players in the NIT tournament.
We're going to be hungry, and obviously we're upset, and we got some points we want to prove.
While the Big Ten tournament didn't go the way the Hawkeyes wanted, there's still a chance to play more basketball this season. From the Big Ten tournament in Minneapolis, Minnesota, Brady Barrett, DITV Sports.
And despite not making that NCAA tournament, the Hawkeyes have earned themselves a 3 seed in the NIT tournament. With this seed, they will get the chance to host a tournament game inside Carver Hawkeye Arena. They will take on the Kansas State Wildcats in the first round of the tournament tomorrow at 8 p.m. The last time the Hawkeyes made the NIT tournament was back in 2017, and they lost in the second round as a 1 seed. And the Iowa women's wrestling team capped off their inaugural season with a national title. DITV's reporter David Consuelos was at the meet and has more on the storybook ending to their season.
In their first collegiate national tournament, the Iowa women's wrestling team brought home 6 national champions, as well as a team title of a total of 204 points. Emily Gonzalez, Ava Bayless, Felicity Taylor, Reese Laramendi, and now 2-time national champion Marilyn Deedy all won their respective weight classes. And with Iowa only ahead by half a point over #1 ranked North Central College, it all came down to 170-pounder Kylie Welker, who took on the #2 Yelena Makoyed of North Central. Welker would shut the door on Yelena and our North Central as she would take an 11-0 tech fall to clinch the national title for herself and her team.
I hope that this pushes other programs forward to start, another Power 5 would be awesome. It's changed my life, and it's changed, every single one of my teammates' life. And, so many fans have came to women's wrestling because of what Iowa has done, and being part of that has been awesome. And I love being able to grow the sport from, doing what I love.
From the Alliant Energy Powerhouse in Cedar Rapids, David Consuelos, DITV Sports.
After a 4th place finish at the Big Ten wrestling tournament, their lowest finish since 2018, the Iowa men's team looks ahead to Kansas City in the national tournament.
We're going to cry about the results and continue to look in the rearview mirror, or are we going to look ahead and position ourselves the best we can? That's number 1. And number 2 is we got to be ready for Kansas City.
9 weight classes will be represented at NCAAs, with 5 Hawks being ranked in the top 10. 125-pounder Drake Ayala and 141-pounder Real Woods headline the qualifiers and enter as 3 seeds. Woods was a runner-up at last year's tournament, and Ayala hasn't been to the big meet since his freshman season when he had to step up after Spencer Lee went down. The tournament will begin Thursday and conclude with the championship duels on Sunday. Ashley, a lot of action, a lot with the conference tournaments, and now national tournaments coming up too.
For sure. There's a lot of excitement here in Iowa City, and thank you so much for tuning in to DITV News and listening to KRUI 89.7 FM.
We are Iowa City every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 8:30 a.m. and online anytime at the Daily Iowan website.
For Sydney Goldberg, AJ Reister, and I'm Ashley Wheel, we'll see you again on Wednesday morning right here on DITV.